about esports is that it's so young that everybody's teaching themselves everything. Like we didn't have any formal instruction as to how to be commentators, analysts, anything like on-screen talent. We just
we are those guys potentially for whoever.
And so everyone's just like exploring, and then eventually people will start to figure out the best ways to do it. So that's gonna be very fun. We really start to get a coach where we recognize this guy is universally doing it very well. But we're not there just yet, perhaps. And
I want to believe that the coaches have. I think there are a couple, but I think ultimately we're going to have some great players retire before.
Yeah, I think we need more analysts, which we can talk about when this pistol round concludes. 4 versus 5. Automatic's found a gap, and he's widened the gap. Bigger problems for Liquid. Twist on the boost position, takes Automatic down, and he'll focus now on A main, and see if he's going back with these duels. Though Skadoodle with a really nice second shot there, doesn't even need any support. And Steel will pick up the defuse kit. He's going to go for it though. 1 versus 3. They don't need to give up any kills. They can force him to the point of no return, force him to the point where he has to face more than one person. And that peak is enough. He knows the situation. He knows that they want to exploit him. And he will try to stop that from happening. So I'd say like I'm the Pet, for example, is, from what I can see, more of an analyst than a coach.
yeah,
He's the coach right now. I mean, he's head coach, which
Yeah,
means
but really
that he
he's
gets
the
more.
but he may just be doing analyst
Surely.
work. No.
No, he's the coach.
So
He's
what would
the-
you what would you define as his roles then?
well, he has, as a coach, he has more power. He has more power from the organization. So I know that there's some things that have been coming in to give coaches like more leverage over, like if your player shows up late for practice, I've heard that you can fine your players. If you, and some orgs will let you do that, and some orgs won't.
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff. Sure, it's like management, but
well, that means you have to listen as well. Like listen to your coach, which is I think the big thing, because there's no like, proper structure for coaches.
But I think with James's point, the question is what are his actual strengths in that sort of role? Because it's a very multifaceted role. It's not just one thing. Being an analyst is one thing that could be useful, or there's a bunch of other skills which you could be good at, but then you want the analyst on the side. And I always did look at him as more of an analyst as well. Like that seemed the biggest value.
I mean, I wouldn't. When I talk about coaches, I wouldn't really. I mean, let's just note that Cloud9 have lost 2 people on this anti-force buy. But if they get this frag towards forklift, oh, Rush has taken some damage. And so as Automatic, Rush has got massive work for the remainder of Liquid if they can get close enough to the site. And ironically, in this situation, that smoke grenade will actually help them get close. But they don't have a kit, so it's a double-edged sword, this smoke. It's hard for him to get through it, but does allow them to get a bit closer. They've got the flashbangs as well. Nitro, oh, that's an extra flashbang. Flying Nitro, not enough to get rid of Automatic, but Tarek, he's got reasonable health, but Steel's got an AK. Touching the bomb. Tarek's going to have a look, and he will regret that one. Steel can chase him down. Tarek's got no time to go further, and he does not have a good angle there. He really needs to stand up and face, but there we go. We'll see if Steel has the time. I think he does.
Yeah,
wow.
Might have been the last second there that he was able to do it.
Yeah,
wow.
he's good. He's good.
I think Tarek did the right thing there. Instead of fighting to delay as long as possible. I mean, he couldn't know, obviously, that this would mean that he, with that much time, Steel could defuse, but...
Well, there's not necessarily one good option. Like, he can delay, but he can also face, because he is going to die before seeing Steel, if he doesn't face. Standing behind that box, because the angle favors Steel.
Yeah, so I'm saying I think he did the best thing.
Okay. I think he should have stood up and shot him in the face. That's what I think.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty close to getting away with it. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you that I have no idea like what we're talking about is how good he is as a coach.
As a coach, yeah.
But, like, because he's never played, right? He was he was Tarek's mod from his stream.
That's why I'd say he's an analyst.
Yeah, well,
because I think for me, a coach is going to be somebody who used to be a player and has the professional experience and may, for example, for a younger player, say, okay, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Where I think an analyst is going to spend a lot of time looking at their opponents, for example, and saying, this person has this kind of habit, you should exploit it by trying to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree too. I don't know, but...
I mean, perhaps he's a hybrid, but I think in general, more teams need those kind of analysts who are looking at their opponents.
Yeah, but in terms of his job title, he's very definitely the coach.
Street and automatic. They've got a bomb down. Now it's time to do as much damage as possible. Stewie by the forklift. Range is not great with the Mac-10. Most of these players have high health. Ooh, gets 2 kills out of it at the very least. And automatic, he's up close with a CZ now. If he moves to his right automatic, his shadow will show on the ground. And CTs can use that to their advantage, and maybe they did. Where he was standing, I don't know if his shadow was already showing, but that's something to be aware of if you do play that position.
Yeah. There's also the weird thing of, I think a coach is really important, but there's this weird thing of like analysts have even less power to influence what you're, and I think an analyst should be someone who understands the game really well, that isn't trying to be confrontational with players, that would like to give good information to the coach so the coach can then have the players use it properly.
Yeah.
Right? But it's hard to say. You know, in League of Legends, there are teams that have multiple analysts and a coach, and that's because they have a game that you can really just break down all the way to the numbers and make use of one analyst do numbers, one analyst do strategy, one analyst do whatever, and use them all and actually implement them in games and have like the first 10 minutes mapped out based on what your analyst is. Counter-Strike is not like that. Counter-Strike is a much more simple game.
Yeah, but I think that you don't have, in an ideal world, I think you have an analyst who reports to a coach.
Yeah,
but we just don't have the people who are not playing to have that in abundance at all.
I totally agree.
It's also interesting because there's probably a lot of people that would be great candidates for either role that don't have the respect or authority or know the right people to actually do those jobs.
Certainly for analysts.
I mean, I think for coaches as well, like, because a coach should be more than a, because sometimes a coach is just a glorified manager, where it's like he just arranges stuff for the players in the team.
Yeah, but those are not the coaches I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, I mean, otherwise we're just wasting our time if that's what we're talking about.
No, that's what I'm saying though. But that is a thing, and that's just like plays into your point.
It is a thing, yeah, but it's not the thing we're talking about. Like when we say there are plenty of people who could do the role, that's not the role we're talking about. The role is a more valuable coach than.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with you. I'm supporting your point. I'm just saying that right now in that position, there are people that probably shouldn't be in those positions.
Oh, I see.
Because sometimes it is just used as a glorified like match arranger.
Just like when the girlfriend used to be in a coach position.
Absolutely, 100%, yeah, exactly.
My girlfriend is our coach.
Whereas
she is very helpful.
There is, because, as you say, like there's no players retiring, there's no formal way to really vet people who could be good for those roles. Also because no one knows 100% in this game what makes you good as a...
Is that a missmoke on purpose? I wonder. That A-main smoke was bad. Twist used it. Not sure if he threw it himself. But from the perspective of someone coming into A-main, it looks like maybe that smoke is good, and as they come up to it, realize that someone could be peeking.
So automatic going for that pretty hard pick with the AWP. It's quite difficult as you're exposed to a lot of positions. Tarek able to hold down the flank. That does give automatic some timing, but the flashbang and the peek is really nice from Liquid. That's going to deal with automatic. He can't find the entry. So now at this point, you start to question, is there even a way into the site for Cloud9? Looks like they want to give it a go at this point. It's hard to think about saving, but this really is a position where it feels like you can't get anything going for your team at this point. Cloud9 took too long, and that allowed Liquid to make plays, and their plays were successful. Flash in, a peek here, a peek there, and not enough players to get in the site. This is a really nice start from Liquid's perspective. The 4-1. All the money in the bag. I feel like this is a map where for me it's hard on paper to understand, even with Steel as the new man in the team, you know, who this actually favors, because it's a potentially very good map for both teams' skill sets.
Yeah, yeah, Cloud9 definitely really like this map, and this was actually Liquid's pick though in this series in particular, so that is of interest. Considering they probably had to run it by Steel.
And the other thing too is that Team Liquid and Cloud9 being the two most prominent orgs, that is pretty sick. Surely not another one. They will be very familiar with one another on a lot of maps, to a degree, to an extent where they may make plays that don't actually make sense from an outside perspective, but within the vacuum of the matchup would be very smart. In goes Steel. And the boost me spotted 2 players. Understood nade, no time for that, no health on Tariq, and another clutch for Steel.
No time. Huh?
Thanks to Elige. Although, you might... No, he's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine. I feel like it was much easier in 1.6 to understand exactly what the bomb timer was doing. Sometimes I'm a little bit off on this one.
The only time I'm off is when we're commentating, because our sound isn't as high as when we're playing.
That's true. That's very true, yeah.
I was going to say something really intelligent.
Oh no, you let you lose it.
I forgot.
Oh, that's happened to me twice today. That's so annoying, isn't it?
Fortunately, everything else I say is also really intelligent. So it's fine. Oh, Nitro's taking some damage. Elige taking some damage as well. Oh my. Oh, he shot his teammate in the head, but I mean, 2 kills is pretty good. 2 unanswered kills, and Stewie will take some damage from his teammate as well. And now we've got Twist getting caught out of position. This is turning into a really weird position where the CTs and Ts are almost swapping roles. It's a retake of main from Rush. And a 3 versus 2 situation.
The swapsies there. JDM, last man standing for Liquid. It started out so well for Liquid. Now JDM has to go for a pretty hard clutch. He has an incendiary, which will be really powerful if he throws it in the right spot. If he throws it at quad, that would be very interesting indeed. And he may be able to get that read, as there is jump spotting, I think.
What the?
Okay,
Why?
so that's an interesting one. So now he can't...
What?
I'm not sure about what he was planning to do with that, but now he sees that there's one on quad, there's a second. That's really unfortunate, because they were making a lot of noise at quad as well, I think.
Yeah, was he trying to molly quad is what I guess I'm wondering.
Like bounce around the side?
Yeah, but I feel like you would know, like you can't hit it to quad from that angle.
Yeah, there's nothing
You just
close,
know,
yeah.
right? So that seemed weird.
I guess maybe he was trying to just molly one side so he at least pins them, but he didn't even seem to be looking for players at quad, so yeah, that's a bit weird. I would love to know what was going through his mind.
Thinking emoji.
Thinking emoji.
But that was a really funny round. It was like Rush one Deagle Stewie coming out of A main because he's like, well, 2 of my teammates just died in A main because there's 2 CTs. How on earth could there be a terrorist out on site? It's like not even his fault.
Strong hold in main. Strong hold in B from opposing teams, from dueling teams. Santico, or Anti-Force by perhaps. Has gone well so far. Stewie creeping around the smoke, but limited success. The gun has slid away, but if they can get past the car position, the CTs can collect that. And then it is on. No flashes, but 2 smokes for the CTs. Once these disappear, JDM will re-smoke main as he did in the previous round after the plant. Oh, his teammates gone down in the meantime, but he will trade, but it will cost him a lot, and that maybe is enough to send them away.
Any guns to be found? Or maybe Twist can get a kill at door or something? Maybe pick a gun up.
There's one towards car.
Oh, he feels as though they could already have been around A main, doesn't want to risk pushing out to door. And that's a smart choice. We can see that now. Cloud9 have got the push. Good, pretty good off angle though. He should be able to get an engagement if he wants. Will he push out now? Just going to hold position. Not quite giving anything away to Twist. 5-3. Cloud9 closing the gap, or 3-5, I should say, as Liquids have been broken on that money. Maybe they can play aggressive B storage or something with the couple guns in the rifle, couple pistols in the rifle. Maybe not. Are they going door, or are they just holding passively?
It's a good start. Cloud9 still 2 rounds behind at present. Lots of would be from the T side to clear out the box position, where you can commonly find a player when they're in a better situation. More guns. JDM will try to hold on to his M4. Cloud9 slowly rotating the bomb. May want to use a bit more time to eliminate, and you can see that from Russia's position. Going to keep the net tight and then start to squeeze. Yeah, there definitely aren't enough analysts. I remember on old Inferno when Fox was playing for G2, on the CT side, he would always sit on the corner where you could go to, if you were on the T side, you could go to the tree position and throw, you could double nade him for free. And no one ever did it until like one of the last 5 matches they played on Inferno. I would say it every single time. I commentated them, and no one ever threw those grenades. It was insane to me.
Fox and B on Cash? Or on Inferno?
On Inferno, yeah. So just as an example, like,
yeah.
there's very easy habits and trends you can pick up. And where you have a key swing round, information like that can win you a match.
Oh, 100%. You sometimes just one kill. Yeah, like one kill should be a round conversion almost every single time. So from that perspective, any gimmick kill, if you can come up with 4 or 5 gimmicks in a half, like you have an amazing half no matter what. Definitely.
Yeah, but a lot of teams don't have that guy.
Yeah, for sure. Just even for solely for the anti-stratting.
Yeah, I mean, you look at any fight, you have people who look at the habits of your opponent and then you try to exploit those habits.
What team was Fox playing on when that was most?
G2 or Kingwin, whatever the name was.
Well, it's Stewie with the entry. He gets traded out by Steel and Checkers. So despite the kill, they still don't have any control really towards this position. Steel's reclaimed everything the Liquid side need to be confident that B is safe. And there's still lots of time in the round for Cloud9, but someone has to make a play, and that's probably going to be Rush. Really important position. There's no one really watching middle or highway at all. So little does Rush know, but he could clearly walk up, keep the walk going up on the highway. And this is pretty common. Like if you're going to make a prediction once you kill a CT and you that early and you cut noise, it's very likely they'll go 2 to a bomb side. You would want a team to play 3 to a site, maybe go aggressive, take some map control, and this is one way to do it. But Steel's going alone with it.
This is big though, because Automatic was just waiting for a push, so now they're just going to forget about it for a while. They might expect it later on, but as they set up for A, if they don't execute fast enough, Steel should not only get a flank off, but have his teammate rotate. And yeah, he's already at truck, so they're in a pretty good spot.
Rush cleared the boost as well. It feels like Leash is about to get absolutely wrecked. We'll have to see if he can get something. If he gets wrecked, it's Steel in from the back though. If he can find a good timing, he will. Just able to catch Skadul in the back as he gets to second. That's the bomb as well, rolling back into A main with no time for Automatic to perhaps collect it. Steel just waiting, and Automatic tagged in the back. He can't do anything. He's probably going to die after time. This is really awkward. Can he survive? Will the forklift provide the cover he needs? Oh, he's going to hit the shot. 6-4 for Liquid.
Holding on to the lead, but the money is rough. Losses were heavy in that round, and in fact, Cloud9, despite losing the round, will have a superior buy. 4 AKs, full utility, AWP. No sniper rifles being listed for this round, but if they prove successful, then perhaps they could take Skadoodles. 2-1-2 set up for the time being, but it is not going to be fought for, it seems. There'll be a boost, though, into the defense. B, and again, a push through the smoke, this time not successful, and that might just be the end of the round right there.
.3v4 retake. Not an easy ask of Nitro. There's not a lot of grenades here on Nitro and JDM. Steel's got some. Would really love an incendiary, perhaps, but they'll be thoroughly smoked away. Bomb down. JDM's going to go out on the limb here. Finds the timing. Looking for more. Shut down, but maybe he created some space. Just enough here for Nitro to get in. Nitro will be denied, and Steel is going to get himself a double. The grenade going to be good, but the position of Charek is going to make things easy for Cloud9. 5-6 for Cloud9. They have broken Liquid. Very back and forth game between these two sides so far.
They really love A. Cloud9 have gone A quite often. That was one of the crazier rounds. Going back and forth with the trades. It was pretty simple, straightforward A execute.
Nice. confidence can be had in that. And that might be a quick B split.
That feels so good. When you get like 2 or like even just 1 quick kill on the rounds like this, it just feels so good. A lot of pressure alleviated on creating some action, and instead you can just easily play a position of strength. And I mean, Liquid may even be considering trying to find a way to play super awesome setups and like maybe find a way to carry one of these guns into the next round. It's like trying to win this challenge against Automatic is so hard.
Flashbang is there. He tried to get to the white box. I mean, his positioning was really good. Maybe trying to use. He had Tarek for support there. If he was able to make it to the white box, could have just hidden there, waited for Tarek to engage and then pop out. But either way, it's 4 versus 2. Now Steel will be the last man. So I like what Automatic attempted there, because at first he kept a very tight angle in case multiple opponents came out. They tried to make it towards white box and use himself as bait for Tarek to engage, and he can pop out afterwards. But just couldn't get there in time. That was fun to watch.
The question for Cloud9 is now, you know, what is the big old plan for the the following round, where the buy of Liquid will be there? But perhaps first they should concern themselves with the door push. I'm not sure if they'll see this. Rush is in trouble. He's very dead. But this is fine. I mean, they spotted 2 CTs there. They'll probably be able to steal away the AK maybe, but no, actually denied.
Patient USP shots will not be rewarded. Hand will not be crossed with gold. You don't cross a hand with gold, what do you do?
Oh, what? I have no idea what you're trying to say, actually, I must be honest.
You know, you put like silver or gold in someone's hand as a term for it.
Generous? I don't know, like, I have no idea.
Is it you cross their palm? Something you
I don't know.
Something their palm with you guys.
It's not ringing any bells.
You guys in your fairy tales. Let me Google this.
Maybe James says his
I think maybe it is like cross palm with silver, cross palm with gold. Yeah, it is. Cross
Never heard of
palm
that.
with gold. That's because
Cool.
you're too busy reading fairy tales.
Well, James was reading religious books.
About Bishkashi.
Cloud9 in the lead. The money utility will be tight for Liquid if they opt for rifles. No Molotovs, no incendiary grenades for the pedantic. No mollies whatsoever. But they do have smokes, and smokes are also crucial for cash.
Yeah, it's a nice map because you can low buy, but you also never have enough smokes depending on what kind of round it is. And oh wow, that's the bottom of the totem pole gone. They know that this was what Liquid's plan was.
Oh wow. Rush actually managed to get to cover, but still loses the duel after he can see again. JDM playing the corner there. It's actually an amazingly good position if there's distraction or smokes or something going on, but just by itself, it's not necessarily the best spot ever.
If someone creeps up on you, they win the fight.
You'll commonly get sprayed there when there's a smoke down. If the T's are not necessarily hiding their presence.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Nice play from Tarek. Nitro. His performance will be brief in the B-bomb site. Twist will continue to head in that direction, although he's in a 1 versus 4. It is the second last round. So does he go for the big gamble, or does he move away and try to hold onto his weapon for the next and final buy of their CT half? It seems it will be the latter.
I feel like with Steel's position, at best he gets like 1 kill, which is a shame.
What, Steel or
Steel, yeah, you know, it's in that corner position.
JDM?
There's JDM in there.
Oh, was it JDM?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was Steel for some reason.
Yeah, if they run by you, you have like a kind of a cool spot, but and you know it was like
Yeah.
lower numbers, so maybe it was worth the risk. But yeah, I mean, if anybody clears it, you're screwed.
I feel like there's probably like 2 ways to like think about it. There's positions which are really strong for delay, and there's positions which are really can be much stronger for fragging, but not as strong for the delay. Obviously, like there, that sort of position where you want to get frags, right? If you die, that's fine. That's sort of part of the plan. You want to get like a 2 or 3k somehow. But I mean, it's hard to find a good position there by yourself where you can do that.
I think the main thing with positions like that is just changing things up, trying to be unexpected. So you get the jump on someone.
Indeed.
It's weird, yeah. There's some spots that are just one and dones that you play when you're up a man to make sure you just consistently have the man advantage no matter what. And then spots that can be one and dones, but also some like in that circumstance, that's such a weird one because sometimes people will just run by you. That can make it different. There's a double B push in the last round of the half, 4-4. They don't retain control of it. JDM has a UMP all alone on this site. And they don't have mid as well, just some rotators. But it seems like Liquid are gambling here. They think that it's going to be B. Yeah, most people on this side. And someone's poking around at mid. Elige? He doesn't realize he sees somebody. Or he just can't straight up from his smoke.
I wonder if something would have come up on the radar there, maybe. That's not a duel you want to take with UMP. Not if you want to live. That's a great grenade, at least directionally. JDM changing up its angle, good for a 3-man spray down. Not sure if he knew anything about the second one, but a kill is a kill. 37 seconds left, and Tarek has control of the bomb. Picks up a weapon, but what is he deciding to do? Seems he was going to consider a rotation, perhaps, but
that seems weird. I wonder if he had a feeling about where the last guy was. I mean, I think
it might have been communication confusion.
Yeah, it might have been that. I think he killed so many people so quickly. I figured, all right, he knows he has a sight for a little bit, because the last rotation is probably pretty far off. But he seemed to have a different idea in his head for some reason.
So this time JDM plays the opposite corner. That's a rarer position as well. Again, it's about, as we mentioned, that's a perfect example of changing things up and being unexpected. They may have been focusing on the other side. It is a tight. You can look at the angle that he was on previously from outside of the site when the smoke's not down. But
see, yeah, Pit is a one and done because you won't get hard cleared as people come into the site. But you can't. No one's gonna run by you, so you can't like catch anyone off guard. At least you get that first fight for free. He made push, not uncommon. Automatic with a fade away.
The bomb spotted instantly on the first frag. That's always a good sign for the CTs. And they are just stuck in the choke point. If you get stuck in the choke point, it's normally not that far back. Absolutely crushed Stewie in very fast to deny the push into A main, and it's worked out magnificently well. 9-7 for Cloud9. They get the good start economically. I feel like, by the way, the discussion on coaching is that we had at the beginning of this match is a very interesting one.
Yeah.
And we should have it properly at some point when we're not pressured by time and also by, of course, having to cast a game where that should be the focus.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard some stuff about the inner world of coaching.
Okay. So, looking for damage.
Yeah.
Steal. Can he hit the shot? No.
He went for it.
It's actually a great position for Tarek because even though he's very exposed, standing up high, he makes you swing. You have to swing up to a position. Like it's awkward. It's like an off angle, but even better because instead of having to sort of aim
left to right,
horizontally, laterally, as it were, you have to also aim up, which is not as common.
This is something that people don't talk about in Counter-Strike. In Quake, I know you guys talk about that. It's like flicking like up and down is much harder than flicking left to right. Everyone's flicking left to right all the time, so you're better at it.
It's a much easier movement, to be honest, for precision at least.
You're right. Your arm is just swinging side to side. Yeah, so like up and to the right like that is extremely awkward. And if you're looking just for one kill, you get to get the off angle, and you're in such a strange spot. You're not even just across the screen. And you just fall off backwards from there, and you're behind default.
It always blows my mind with stuff like that when playing invert, for example, because with those up and down shots, it's just your brain just does it, right? You can be like so accurate, but if you think about it, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Like how your hand has to move. And it's so weird how you've rewired your brain. Uh-oh, that's a bit awkward. And all of a sudden, just like that, there is a really big chance here for Liquid to get onto the B bomb site. Bomb, though, nowhere near the bomb site. That is big issue. Skadoodle! That MP7, oh my god. He's making it look good. Not enough people. Well, it's probably one of the more underused guns because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
$1,700.
It's a pretty penny.
Why would you have that if you can have a UMP for $500? $500 less.
And then Skadoodle hits you with the commercial.
He does. Yeah, $500 more, but what you are purchasing is quality.
You can win a 3v5.
The MP7, like for that $500, what you're getting is a UMP that has a faster rate of fire, which is an interesting idea because usually UMPs are not going to be used in a spot where you expect to, like you don't want to, you want to set up so by design you have maybe a 1v1 at like a close to medium range where the gun can actually perform well. And the difference then between the MP7 and the UMP becomes negligible because you're against armor as well and you're trying to play the headshot. So. And the spray pattern is easier with a UMP to finish off a player if you get that first headshot.
That is true.
So.
Oh, it's not a great Molotov, but no one's really fighting mid these days. Even it seems sometimes teams are leaving people close up, but not that often anymore. It's like Fur and Get Right are a couple of players we can think of, and rare death from Stewie at B, but they have 2 players to support. However, it's not going to bait anybody in. Mid control, even though it's conceded, doesn't push Liquid into a split. They're not really in good positions to do it. I think they still want to molly out vent, and are potentially even going back to A entirely.
It's going to be a tough hold for Cloud9. Automatic is in that close to mid-range spot with the UMP, and he's got also a deagle for the long range. So he's got all the tools. But he's going to be alone. And he knows he's going to be alone. So this is interesting. It depends on how fast Liquid move in. He's actually got teammates. Oh, this is big. Tarek swings into position just in the nick of time. Catches the bomb on the cross. Automatic hears it collected. Doesn't expect Nitro to cover the angle. Now Tarek, for all the good work he's done, there's not much more that he can do. But that Molotov, although it has disappeared, might make Liquid think that he could be potentially going for this. So they may hold their positions for a time being. Oh, if he hit that, I would have just jumped out my chair. We saw someone hit that shot earlier. Who was it? It was Draken.
Pasha.
It's Draken. Was it Pasha? Was it Pasha?
Yeah,
okay.
he came out mid, peeked to quad. Top
Oh,
right.
yes, yes. It was Draken that hit a similar shot, but from Nuke.
Oh.
I guess that's a similar shot.
Goodbye. Adios, amigo. How do you say goodbye in Malaysian?
See you later.
That was so quick as well. Jeez Louise. Double ups on T side? Yes. I hate it when end of a round you're like someone says, "Oh, can you pick up that ult for me?" and 2 people pick up an ult, like, "Oh, god damn it!" Now I've got 2 ults on T side. Nitro and JDM. Grenade bouncing. The bauble bouncing off the tree. How crazy. Harassment towards the door. It's a very robust door. Can't imagine. It's probably taken. Do you think that door has taken more than 1 million grenades through it in its lifetime?
Then I don't care to speculate.
Yeah, that was a dumb question, James.
Yeah, man. It's just all speculation, isn't it?
All right, I'll leave you guys on your nails then.
I'm sorry, James. but like we've derailed the cast, Launders. And it's your fault, so you should stop commentating now.
Oh.
It's your punishment.
Shoot, that didn't really derail it. Why not entertain the question? Okay, so similar state of affairs for Liquid. On the T side, they're taking mid. They have not put anybody here to attack it. Cloud9 have actually stacked kind of towards A. It seems like they're just gambling each round. They've been right the last 2.
Bombs on the floor. Automatic has done God's work in this round. Around the forklift, driving over these fools. Still alone, living still without options, without time, without opportunity, without any friends, without any buddies, without any teammates. It's like being on Immortals again.
Oh my gosh.
I was about to say I could see it on the mini-map. Oh dear.
I slowly saw the radar colours converge.
Somehow you got the kill.
I wondered what might be.
That was actually a pretty insane round from Automatic.
It was
some clean headshots.
Yeah.
Nitro uses the
A1?
he uses the hot rods, the silenced hot rods.
Nicely.
What happened?
He was just jumping on his teammate's heads the entire way. The entire way from T-spawn.
Oh.
Anyway, I have a hot rod, silenced M4, and I'm going to name it China number 1. I think it's awesome. Awesome name for it. Liquid trying to creep in. There's great cover, but there's an instant kill. And the bomb site is there. Skidoo is alive, but does he dare go through the vents?
Needs a teammate to do something first. But his teammates are on the sort of wrong side to support him. So it gets really awkward. And there is actually a handful of utility to be expended on the side. So maybe they can somehow create a play there. But I honestly don't think Skidoo has to be like the last guy in. His teammates have to convince him that it's worth sacrificing the AWP on this retake. It is a 3v3. So see, it's all going to be coordinated. Skidoo gets targeted first and a 2v1. Automatic again! So precise with the A1. Looking for the final frag, but the time really is not with him. Despite getting the kill, it's a consolation. The round is there for Liquid.
Still facing the bomb.
Yeah, that habit, man. I still do that as well.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, jumping while facing the bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you
Yes.
that started playing CSGO after that was patched, it used to be that if you look towards the bomb blast, you would actually take less damage.
Wait, that was in CSGO?
Yeah.
I thought it was only 1.6.
Pretty sure it's CS:GO as well, right?
I don't know if it was ever CS:GO. I think people
really?
just assumed it was.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever
But
in
I
CS:GO.
think I don't know if it ever actually was.
I've just been doing it.
Yeah.
I still do
Forever.
it.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
still do it now.
Yeah. Sometimes I do, yeah.
I still do it too sometimes. I mean, if I really think I'm going to die, but only by like 2 HP, I'm turning around.
Yeah.
It cost me nothing.
I won't because I feel like it might slow me down by a few.
I hit him with the backward strafe.
What is a measurement of distance in this game
Units.
again? Unit. I feel like it might slow me down for a few units turning and then changing from W to S. So I'm
That's-
like,
you just
I'm
let
going to
go.
make it worse.
That's
let
why
go of your keys.
I actually used to practice my
But
mechanics.
then I'll slow me down.
So this is relevant, right? Because one thing that I used to do, I've always been like really, like for in my mechanics book in my little head, is it's always about having the ability as well to do an instant 180, because I feel like you'll never need to do more than that. You can just instill that in your motor memory. Once you pick a setup, it's like you just instill that swipe, which is like a perfect clean 180. And so then when you can do that, you can practice it by, if you are running it like from T-spawn or CD spawn to a location, you just practice that and you switch the forward to backwards immediately. I just practice that sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's lots of spots where I've just done it perfectly.
You can just
Not that hard.
You can just like turn around while strafing backwards.
Yeah. Actually, it used to be a thing as well, people typing whilst running in
I can do that.
1.6. Yeah. Yeah. There's certain keys you can press which doesn't interrupt the running. So
my point was, if you're running away from the bomb, but you turn to face the bomb, you're going to slow down.
No.
no, not if you do it perfectly.
You're changing direction.
No, but you can do it
And
instantly.
Yeah, you can do it
instantaneously.
instantly. Yeah.
You can do it instantly.
Instantly.
Maybe
okay, when
like-
you say
okay,
instantly,
maybe
are
like a
you
unit or two or
telling
something.
me that you are going to be the same unit of distance away that I am?
If
I just
okay,
hold
James,
W.
James, let's
is that
have
what
a
you're saying?
let's have a race.
Because that's what I'm talking about.
Let's do a race. We can do a race from point A to point B, and then see who reaches it first. And then I can just do that a couple times.
Then
you're-
Dan's going
and
to
you're-
cheat and strafe.
So I'm gonna press W, and you're gonna turn around and go backwards.
Yeah.
Well,
I could do it
if you're
twice.
only holding W, you're not. Yeah. If no one's strafing, you're not going to lose any speed by turning around. Because if you're in the air, you're not going to slow down by letting go
We've
of
got
the keys.
the KZ
But you're not
master
gonna be
over
in the
here.
air. You're gonna be running.
Just jump.
Well, I suppose you could jump at the end of the run when you.
I thought we were
going to
jumping. I was in my mind. I was just jumping.
Oh, I can do it. I do without jumping.
I mean, if you
as
that's
well.
part of the cool guys. Like when you're running away from the explosion, you got to jump and look away.
It's like the Hollywood, do the Hollywood move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's anti sort of forced by time for Liquid side. We've got a scout. We've got automatic able to save the M4. They've bought up around it. How much money actually do Cloud9 have? Did they
$1
save
million.
anything here? No, they just so everybody invests apart from Skidoo, like keeping money alive for
slightly
the
wrong.
for the AWP later on. But I do like it otherwise. Automatic's been so godlike with the M4 as well that I feel like it's cool to give him more to work with in this round.
Godomatic.
Yeah, automatic. I will. Nicely done.
He continues. Uh-oh. But now he has to stop. Oh, there's 3 of them. Skadoodle, look how he goes wide to bait them, to not allow them to realize that there's more here. And then Stewie comes in with the dart gun, putting people to sleep. Steel versus Tarek. Tarek towards the car. Steel's got time. He's got flashbangs.
Oh, he doesn't know? That's not good. Oh, that's not good either. That's booed.
Who are you? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Can't imagine Dad Launders.
Dad?
Dad Launders.
Like father?
Yeah, that's what Dad is.
So I just thought you said dab.
Dab Launders. No, I don't know anything about dabbing.
I've never done that ever in my life. And I probably never will.
The only time.
Well, you hold that over my head, Dan.
Yep. It means I'm better than you as a human. I think that's what it means anyway, but I'm not sure. Leash with max 10. Freedom. Freedom to be who he wants. To do as he wishes.
I'll be the first guy who's dabbed and gotten laid.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about your sex life while we're here?
I've heard you say far worse stuff on this broadcast.
Don't know what you're talking about, Launders. I fixed my little puzzle, by the way. I don't know how.
Did you?
Yeah, I've completed it. Pure
Okay.
pistols
Should I break it?
for the CTs. I'm done with it. Even though I don't know how I did it, my job is done. Oh boy, the cavalry are charging in. Steal again. Oh! No, he doesn't land the smoke.
Ouch.
I mean, spray. He doesn't land the spray, not smoke. Doesn't land the spray. That's frustrating. I've been there on that very bomb site.
Yeah, similar position. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, my issue though was because I use my mouse in a very stupid fashion. My hand was like in the bottom left of my mouse pad, and I couldn't physically move my arm to aim properly without resetting. Which
Yeah,
when
I
you
mean, you got roasted, but it didn't look that bad. It was just a regular whiff.
How come you fix your mechanics, James? So that you solve all of these problems. Including the main one, the RSI.
I'm considering it.
Gotta learn. I had to
But
make a
it's gonna
video
take
actually.
When I last changed my sensitivity, it took me 72 days, roughly, to
I
be
changed.
at the same level with the new sensitivity. So if I'm changing my entire mousing style,
I'm gonna.
I don't think it'll be that bad actually.
It's not
I think it'll be like maybe a week.
because
Yeah.
you've had a big break as well.
I changed from 1.4 at 400 to 2.5 at 400 and got used to it in a week. Felt good.
But all the muscle, all the motor memory, especially when you snipe, that takes a lot longer to learn.
You could also lower your zoom sense for
I already
swiping.
have. Mine's
Oh.
0.79. My zoom sensitivity ratio.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to have a lower zoom.
But yeah,
Zoom.
I actually learned to apply like different grip styles, like to use interchangeably depending on what I'm doing. Obviously, I have to be playing a lot, so that actually is in my brain to subconsciously do it all the time. But it's not that hard, I think. I'll make a video about that. I think. And the attack for the. It's going to come down to hitting shots so far, and it's been Nitro, who's the last man standing here for Liquid. He's got nothing so far. The bomb not in the best place.
Double big time. You did.
Not much you can do about that. C9 looking pretty good today. Not too bad at all. But again, gotta definitely. I think there's a lot to be said about having a new IGL. Obviously, so I mean, we talked a lot about coaching. We didn't really talk about the process of like adding maps, building maps, and where their weaknesses can be with a new IGL. But regardless of that, Cloud9 again, it's such a, as you mentioned, it's such a good map for them. It suits their style. They are a 5-man squad.
Yeah, the only thing that's standing out to me, I think, that I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, is they like to stick to a site. Like on Mirage, they were like constantly going B. On this map, they've gone A like a lot. They've gone beasts sometimes, but it's been like a lot of A hits.
And everyone's dead. Everyone's dead. 15 to 10. Match point for Cloud9. Money's alright for Liquid to get a buy-in. No AWP though. But that's okay. They're on the T side. They'll have plenty of grenades in this round as well. I personally would love to see kind of the slow round into the late mid take into the B split.
Look at the steal is 26 and 7, and there's 2 of his teammates who have less than 10 kills. That's kind of, or no, well, almost. That's kind of interesting. I mean, he's fitting in so well. Usually, you think, especially new IGL would have the hardest time playing well themselves.
But maybe he's having a hard time calling for the team. Perhaps it's a consideration as well as they assault the A site, and it's actually going very well. Those initial entries working out. So we didn't really see a drawn out round. We didn't see map control plays. We saw Liquid on their last sort of round potentially deciding to just go for a really fast A hit. Like, how do you feel about that approach from them? Obviously, it's worked out, but is it something that you support, Londers? Are you a fan?
I think so, because they didn't have a lot of money, so they couldn't waste nades or spend a lot of time hanging out at mid. Even though Cloud9 are kind of giving it up. If it was a round where Cloud9 were 3 mid, then it might be too much of a risk to try to attack it without having like two smokes and 2 molotovs like just right away, or even a late mid.
So if you had to like pin it down to like 2 main factors as to like why that call was made by Liquid, it's
lower buy, and I would say it starts. It's pretty much just because it's a lower buy, and they like
not the double ops as well.
Oh, yeah. Did they have double ops?
I think they did, yeah.
I didn't even know. I didn't
Pretty
even
sure
notice. I didn't even notice. Did
Did
they
they OP?
Wisdom? Wait, that sounds weird. They double op executed A.
No, I mean Cloud9 are double ops.
Oh, Cloud9.
Yeah,
had
yeah.
double
So
op.
that's an argument for seeing Liquid to go for an execution.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Definitely.
I guess maybe that was one of the other factors there.
Definitely.
Worked out really well, but the question is, what do they, how do they build from that? Double ops again. Steel picked off immediately. It's a bad look early on for Liquid.
Both spotted each other as Tariq got into position, but he was too fast. Flashes himself back out again, and that is just perfect timing. So refreshing. Oh, I killed someone!
Unlucky.
When the flashbang goes away.
It feels so hard to get those frags these days because people are usually really good at just like waiting long enough to because you have to shoot and move. You have to move with your flash. So, ooh. Okay, so systematically picked off one by one. It's an ugly look of a round for Liquid, and it's likely the last round they get to play here on Cash against Cloud9 today.
3, 2, 1.
He walks away from the door.
When
Yeah.
Launders answers the door, there's nobody at home.
Twist getting into position. It's Counter-Strike. There's always a possibility. We've seen some pretty low percentage stuff work out today. But maybe not this time. Entry frag attempt made. It had to be Twist. It had to be, but it wasn't. Can't be Nitro. He's on, well, was on 1 HP. 16 to 11, the final score. Cloud9. Wow, they get the 2-0.